people, welcome to the Manna Motivation YouTube channel. Do you know Iyanla Vanzant? Iyanla Vanzant is an author of 17 titles, 6-time New York Times bestselling author, 4-time NAACP Image Award recipient, 3-time Gracie Award winner, and 3-time Honorary Degree recipient. She would categorize herself as a mother, grandmother, good girlfriend, and wise woman. But the best ways to describe her are minister, prayer warrior, and servant. In addition to her work with the law and spirituality, she is a student of life in all of its vastness. The author, speaker, and radio show personality is best known for her work on Oprah's hit show, Iyanla Fix My Life. Oprah herself has called Iyanla the most powerful spiritual healer, fixer, teacher on the planet. Former editor of Essence magazine called Susan Taylor said of Iyanla, who is widely regarded as a celebrity spiritual guru, the real deal in the arena of personal healing and growth. Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Eat, Pray, Love, says Iyanla is a living miracle because she delivers people to a higher level and elevates all those who come into contact with her. 2 million plus follow her on Facebook as well, describing her as Auntie. And a member, let's take a look at her motivational speeches. If you want more of this content, subscribe to the Manna Motivation YouTube channel and hit the notification bell.
Me? 14 million viewers. How many of them will watch you kill yourself, eating, smoking, drinking, driving under the influence, and don't say nothing? The fact that you got 14 million views should not be a statement and a testimony about who and what you are and the value that you are. Can you hear me? That's external validation. A spiritual code of conduct is what is going to govern you and guide you and lead you from the inside out. So the first code is ground yourself spiritually every day. That's do. That's your do. You know, codes have do's and don'ts. The first thing is ground yourself spiritually every day. That means when you get up in the morning, connect with something bigger, greater, grander than you. Ground yourself spiritually every day. That means believe in, trust in, connect to something bigger than you, something grander, something more divine, something that makes your divinity worthwhile. If you don't, you can be knocked off center by everything that comes your way. Let me tell you what it looks like to be knocked off center. Last year, this day last year, I was half naked when they rolled me into a surgery suite. Half naked and freezing. I don't know why them places got to be so darn cold. And you know, when you're a woman and you get cold, the little people, I didn't want them to think I was excited or anything. So the people were standing up and it was freezing. And then I looked around the room. I didn't know nobody in the room. I didn't know nobody in the room. And I have to tell you, won't none of them black. They could have all been people that voted for Trump. And I was naked and cold in the room. All right? And I'm laying there and I said, wait a minute, hold up. Hold up. These people is getting ready to pump my naked body full of drugs that are going to render me unconscious. And then, when I'm drugged and unconscious, they're going to cut into my body and take out pieces and parts. Lord. See, when you ground yourself spiritually every day, when you are connected to something bigger, greater, grander than you, in the moments when you're naked, freezing, and helpless, you know that you are guided and protected. You know that something's looking out for you. Here I am naked, freezing, drugged, surrounded by people who could have been voting for Trump. They getting ready to take out a piece of my body. In that moment, I wasn't so big and bad. But what I was spiritually grounded. And in that moment, I couldn't wonder, I couldn't question, and I couldn't even worry. I had to know. When you are spiritually grounded, you know. And you act like you know. You got to have a spiritual code of conduct that says each and every day you ground yourself spiritually. Here's something else you got to do. A spiritual code of conduct says that you must know who you are. Look, I'm not talking about your name or your occupation. I'm not talking about what people say about you on Facebook. I'm not talking about your PIN number. I'm talking about who you are at the core and the essence and the root of your being. Spiritual code of conduct says you have to know who you are and that your behavior cannot make testimony about you that is not the truth of who you are. When you have a spiritual code of conduct and when you know who you are, if you ain't a hoe, you don't act like a hoe. If you ain't a deadbeat daddy, you don't act like a deadbeat daddy. If you ain't a gutter snipe, you don't act like a gutter snipe. Come on now. You know who you are from the inside to the outside. And your behavior is a demonstration of what you believe to be true about you. Spiritual code of conduct says know who you are when somebody calls you out your name in your face. You know, I don't understand why that upsets people so much. You're disrespecting me. No, you're disrespecting yourself. Because the only thing that you can call me is what you recognize to be true about you or your mama. You ain't talking about me. See, when you know who you are and somebody calls you something that you don't recognize, you don't even respond. You keep on moving because you know they talking about themselves or they mama. See, you can't talk about they mama, but if they calling it to you, it's because they seen it somewhere. All right? Know who you are. And don't respond to things that don't have nothing to do with who you are. Live authentically. Live by a spiritual code of conduct. So do know who you are. Spiritual code of conduct says you have to ask for what you want and don't settle for what's available or what you think you can get. Say it again. They told me say it again. A spiritual code of conduct says that you have to ask for what you want and do not settle for something because it's all you think you can have or because it's what's available. If you want it single, don't settle for it if it's married. Let me take a walk. If you want it easy, don't make it hard. And if you want it hard, then you got to work with it if it's not. Ask for what you want. And ask for the things that are going to up-level your wattage in life. Don't settle for things that are going to dim your light. Up-level your wattage. sometimes our light be blinding us. Your light is so brilliant, it blinds you. The reflection of it shining back in your eye. And so you get confused. And you be holding on to things that do not reflect your own brilliance.
Patterns of thought and behavior that govern our choices and experiences that also disturb our peace. Have you ever had an experience where you may not even know what's going on, but you certainly just can't find peace? You feel maybe tense or anxious, or you have anxiety going on, and you don't know it's baggage. It may be something that happened back in '56 that you didn't process through, and it comes up, gets triggered by something you see today. And that's the key about baggage. Our baggage is usually not related to what is going on right now. It's baggage, unprocessed, negative or toxic thoughts and feelings that come up to the surface and cloud or our choices and our decisions and rule how we think. Baggage is also, this is key, it's an emotional defense mechanism that will keep you from making choices and decisions in order to keep you safe. Okay? It is the defense mechanism. So if you have baggage that you haven't resolved, feelings that you haven't resolved, things that you haven't resolved, and it gets triggered by a current experience, your baggage will guide you or motivate you or inspire you to make choices and decisions to keep you safe. Now, here's the sticky wicket in that. Very often, we will make choices and decisions to keep us safe that keep us in pain. But the pain is familiar, so we rather stay there in the familiar pain than to move into something we don't know and can't control because we believe we will not be safe. Come on, breathe. Okay. Baggage. Baggage is also, this is how you know you have baggage. It's a sensory thing. You feel it. It triggers, something gets triggered in you, and it pushes you back to an experience that's no longer going on. But because you haven't processed the feelings attached to that experience, you will act it out right here and right now. And to you, I would ask, is it not negative for you to deem that somebody else is negative? Isn't that negative? And more important, how does deeming them negative serve you? How does that serve you? You see, here's the trick and the trap, all right? The way we escape our responsibility is to deem somebody else as being negative. And once you judge them as negative, you don't have to change or shift or grow because the onus is on them. You're focused on them and not on yourself. Come on, listen to me. Once you determine or declare that someone is negative, you get focused on what they're doing, what they need to do, what they need to stop doing to become more acceptable and tolerable to you, rather than how can you become more understanding, more accepting, more compassionate, more loving. And as long as you are focused on them and what they're doing, you're distracted from what you need to do and grow and heal and practice. They are no negative people. They are people that strike negative chords in us. Now listen, can people behave in ways that are mean, unkind, and unloving? Absolutely they can. And they do. Are some people pessimistic, critical, judgmental? Yeah, they are. Does that mean that they have an intention and a desire to be negative or to be hurtful? Listen, many of the people that we deem as negative and hurtful and wrong and bad, they don't think that about themselves. They just doing what they do. You can't control that. But what you can do is look at how you are responding and take back your power. That's what you can do. It means that they are who they are. It means they do what they do based on their experiences and the information they have and the information that they've gathered and the fears that they're living with and the trauma that they're passing through. Yeah? So the question becomes this. Listen, how do you deal with folks like this? Folks who are different, folks who are judgmental, folks who are critical, folks who start doing things that have a negative impact on you. How do you deal with their actions and their speaking? Folks rub you the wrong way.
Keep it simple. The truth will cut through all the drama, all the misunderstanding, all the hurt, all the pain, all the memories. Keep it simple. I don't care how long you've been with Fifi or Boo Boo. If they leave you, it's not because something's wrong with you. They ain't the one for you. Keep it simple. You got laid off from your job, there's another divine opportunity waiting for you to keep it simple. You lost your house, well, in your father's house there are many mansions. Just hang around long enough. Keep it simple. The path to greatness. Order, vision, trust, faith, a good piece of chocolate, and simplicity.
And your behavior, and say something must be wrong with me, that I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Something must be wrong with me. You know, for me, it was always relationships. I know y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But in St. Louis, they got issues. You know, this is what I love. I love when people write me about their relationships. I'll be reading a letter and I say, Boo, don't you know I've been divorced 3 times? Why are you writing me? This is not going to turn out well for you. It is not going to turn out well for you. Asking me what to do about your marriage. I've been divorced 3 times, twice from the same person. Because I didn't know I mattered. Just crazy as hell. Do you know you can inherit crazy? Mm-hmm. You inherit crazy. You think crazy, you talk crazy. Some people even walk crazy. And then people be like, what's wrong with her? She crazy. But it's not until we understand that we matter. Who we are matters. What we do matters. How we do it matters. And therefore, we have to take responsibility for everything that's going on in our life. I know the crazy people set you up, but it was a divine setup to give you what you needed in order to grow beyond where you were. You matter. What you think matters. What you think matters. Mind is energy. Every thought creates energy. And energy, once created, can never be destroyed. It can be transformed, but it cannot be destroyed. So every thought you have is lingering around somewhere in your mind. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had an argument in your head with yourself and lost? Yeah, you can't do that. Yes, I can. No, you can't. I'm telling you, you can't do that because you can't. Well, why are you telling me that? I'm telling you that because I love you, because I want you to. Ain't nobody in your head but you. Now, if you can't win in your own head, what are your chances out in the world? You matter. Therefore, what you think matters. And you've got to be clear about separating what you think from what you've been told to think. I learned that about okra. I don't like okra. I just don't. Okra had never crossed my lips, but I didn't like okra because my mother told me okra's nasty, and you always believe your mama until she tell you that the boy you brought home ain't good for you. Now you don't believe her then, but when it come to okra, you believe her. So when I was in college and my kids were young, my neighbor used to look in on them sometimes when I had to go to class. And so one night, Miss Fountain, her name was Jessie Fountain, she lived right across the hall from me. One night she cooked and she brought this food over. And I don't know, the kids left me some because usually they didn't leave me anything. Isn't that how them little terrible buggers do you? You cook all day and they get in the kitchen and you come back and there's a greasy paper towel and a crumb. All right, we won't have that conversation. That's another lecture. So Miss Fountain cooked this dish of stuff, and there was a little bit of it, maybe 2 tablespoons left in the bowl. And so I came home and I ate it. I was like, what is this? This is food of the gods. I love this. What is it? So I went next door and I knocked on Miss Fountain's door. Miss Fountain, what is this? She said, okra and butter beans. I said, okra? It can't be no okra because I don't like okra. She said, well, that's what it is. Okra and butter beans with a little bacon. Miss Fountain, I don't eat pork. She said, well, it's okra. I simmer the butter beans down with a little bacon, and I put it in there, and then I put the okra on top so they just remain nice and crunchy. We have to check out what we're thinking about what we can and cannot do. Is it your thought, or is it a thought that was given to you?
How we say what we say and who we say it to. Do you know you can talk yourself into trouble? A lot easier than you can talk yourself out of it. But if you become mindful about what you're speaking, it'll be a lot easier to handle some of the things that come up in your life with speaking. Years and years and years ago, I learned a secret. I used to open my pocketbook, my purse. I'd get right down over and I'd say, fill yourself with divine substance right now. Oh, you look at all that abundance just pouring down right out. Ooh! I name everything and I speak to everything. My car got a name. I say, Gracie, how you doing this morning? Come on, we going traveling. My house got a name, Villanova, the big vision. I'm mindful of my mouth because I know that what comes out of my mouth must be created. Everything begins with a word. So we even want to stop speaking about how horrible our children are doing, or how bad people are doing, or how bad things end. Here's an affirmation. Oh my, I can hardly wait to see the good that's going to come out of this, no matter what it is. As opposed to using our power to continue to affirm what's wrong, what's broke, what ain't working, what's not happening, how horrible it is. Let's speak life into things. Let's speak life into our children. Let's speak life into our families, into our relationships. I can't tell you the number of people who write me and say, I need you to help me with my crazy family. Well, heck, they're your family. I don't even know that kind of crazy you got over there. This is just what I be thinking, and then I bless my head so that thought will go away. But what if we started saying, wow, I know it looks like Boo-Boo, my cousin, is having difficulty right now, but I see a brighter day for you. It's what Emmett Fox called gold keying, where you key something up with the radiant richness of what you want it to be, as opposed to affirming it as it is right now, as it is right now. So we want to clean up our mouths and what we say about each other. Imagine that you have 24 hours a day for how many years? How much of that time do you give just for you? where you just sit and be present with you, self-care and self-nurturing. Also, being really clear about what it is you want. Talk to yourself about it. Talk to somebody you care about it. Hear your own voice and honor your own feelings and be good to you. Be clear about who you are and what you're up to at any given point in time. Be clear about what matters to you, what you value, what you will do, what you won't do, what you can do, and what you can't do. Be clear. Clarity is a gift, and it grows and develops through practice. Be clear. Be clear about who you are. Many, many years ago, when I first started doing this work, and I was writing, I wrote a little purple book called Acts of Faith. And the book had a life all its own. And I was running all over speaking and talking about acts of faith and stuff and making money on the book, speaking for $50 and $300 and $200. I had to get clear because I had on $500 worth of clothes. It was not profitable. But I had to get clear. And Dennis Kimbrough said this to me right in the halls of the old convention center. He said, Iyanla, be clear about what you are. Are you a writer who speaks or a speaker who writes? Sometimes when we do multiple things, we throw them all together and we practice each and we master none. Be clear about who you are, about what you do, what you're up to, what is your primary cause of action and call to action. You got to be clear. And listening to what Dennis Kimbrough said to me, was I a speaker who writes or a writer who speaks? I said, well, I ain't none of that. That's something that I do, but that's not who I be. Who you be? You've got to get clear about who you be, because being is an internal state. It's not about doing. It's what drives you, what elevates you, what you would do every single day of your life for the rest of your life, whether you got paid or not. That's who you be. What matters to you, that's who you be. What you value, that's who you be. And so many of us are clear about what we have to do, but not clear about who we be as we're doing it. Because some of us want to serve people and we mean it in a wet cat on any given Sunday. Real self knows the truth. No matter what mask or what face you wear in the world, your real self knows the truth. And there was a time in my life when I acted like I knew a truth that I didn't know. And the truth I didn't know was the depth of my value and my worth. You see, I had already been an author that had sold over 6 million books, 14 different titles. I had already been on my own television show. I had traveled around the world. I had spoken to hundreds of thousands of people, and still I did not know or value my own worth. So I had a very big opportunity to go forward and to be on what was once called the Oprah Winfrey Show. Yes, and I went on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Miss Winfrey asked me back again and again and again, and eventually I became part of her Change Your Life faculty. And it was all good. I had written 13 books. I had traveled all over the country. I had done her show repeatedly, but I didn't know my own sense of worth. So what happened? I tried to live in a place that I didn't believe was true for me, and eventually I crashed and burned. Crashed and burned by leaving the Oprah Winfrey Show and going on to another network and doing another show that didn't even survive a season, all because I didn't know my worth. Now, it would have looked like all sorts of external circumstances. Oh, there was a miscommunication between me and Miss Winfrey, and the other network was offering me a lot of money, and why shouldn't I take a big business deal? No, It was about me not knowing my own worth, me not being able to stand in the miracle of being on the Oprah Winfrey Show repeatedly among honored teachers without having to work hard for it, because that was what I had been taught. The matter with me was that I didn't know how to receive a gift, a blessing, without working hard for it. So when things came to me easily, I blew them up. It's self-sabotage or procrastination or forgetting or whatever it is. That opportunity went away because I didn't know my worth. That's the kind of truth we have to tell each other. We have to be aware of it, we have to acknowledge it, and we have to accept it.
For further information, born in Brooklyn, New York, Iyanla did not have an easy life. The product of an extramarital affair, she lost her mother at 2 years old and was shuffled around by her relatives. Iyanla gave birth to her first child at 16 and suffered physical and sexual abuse. By 21, she had 3 children and was surviving on public assistance in the projects. 9 years later, she found a way out of the abusive relationship with Medgar Evers College, where she received her degree in public administration and education through summa cum laude. Directly after graduating from law school with degrees in education/public administration, Iyanla entered City University Law School, where she became a member of the inaugural class. After graduation, Iyanla made her way to Philadelphia to serve as a member of the city's Public Defender's Office, but left when she heard a still small voice telling her that it was not time for that chapter in her life to end yet. That's it for this video, Manna member. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon!